the fifth force of nature, gravity, electromagnetism, the strong nuclear force, and the weak nuclear force, are all the four fundamental forces of the universe that are the basis for all interactions and phenomena in nature. All these forces are bound to a specific particle that gives them their properties, with the exception of gravity, which, because of its weak and weird nature, no graviton has been detected yet, a variable that will most likely change over time, as research into the nature of gravitational waves from the collisions of black holes and neutron stars are being done. Nevertheless, it is a force with obvious effects and consequences, fundamental for the universe to operate the way it does, from the attraction of cosmic gas to form stars, to tidal waves that influence life in our oceans. As we study these forces and fully begin to understand the way they work, we unlock new technologies that betters our life on the planet, like in the case of electromagnetism, which has greatly improved the standard of living on the world, revolutionizing human society. Before being mud and darkness, and after the internet and plasma TVs. While before all knowledge was transmitted either through books or talking to other people, and now we have all the information in the world at the tip of our fingers. Keeping this in mind, it is widely speculated that besides the four known fundamental forces, there could be potentially other such forces, that while not apparent at the moment, they could prove very useful to us, possibly with similar impact as gravity and electromagnetism. The search for the fifth fundamental force has been going on for quite some time now. In the 1980s, some research indicated the presence of a fifth force which operated at a very short distance, but when repeated attempts were made to recreate the experiment, the results were inconclusive. Most hypotheses regarding this fifth force envision it as being a very weak one, which makes it difficult to study. Some time ago, discrepancies were found between the value of gravity at the surface of the planet and in measurements found beneath the surface, in deep mining shafts and at high depths under the sea, with as much as a 2% misalignment, leading to a possible indication of a force that can counteract gravity at a large scale. But this could also just be simply attributed to geological anomalies. Theories from the most pertinent to the most absurd have tried to explain and find this fifth force, with allegations as far as string theory trying to explain it. But most research regarding a new fundamental force aren't replicable, results being observed in an experiment, but when the experiment was reproduced, the data was different, and in science, for an experiment to be valid, it must be recreated time and time again. A highly promising lead into this, where a lot of research is directed to, involves the concept of dark matter and dark energy, concepts that were developed to fill big holes in the standard model and are now widely accepted as truths of the universe. As it was apparent that galaxies weren't behaving as predicted, the visible matter being too little to prevent them from ejecting out stars, dark matter was then theorized to hold them together, while dark energy instead was linked to the observation of the universe's expansion. And while so far research for finding a particle that is linked to dark matter are mostly unsuccessful, a big factor being that it doesn't interact with light and normal matter, and the fact that dark matter could also be regarded as more of a phenomenon of the universe, with a less likely possibility for having a particle that could carry a fundamental force. In the case of dark energy though, things look a little bit more promising. This year, in Italy, observations from an experiment concluded over a span of a couple of years have produced some interesting results regarding the potential nature of what consists more than 60% of all energy in the universe. In this experiment, scientists filled some large tanks, which were equipped with a lot of very precise sensors, with liquid xenon, a noble gas that doesn't interact with much in general and doesn't produce a lot of emissions. The idea was that if a dark energy particle exists, it will pass through this gas, and the sensors will be able to detect the emissions. And after the background radiation was measured and cancelled out, there were detected an additional 53 extra events on top of that, which couldn't be explained by the current mathematical model of elements. Because of this, the scientists created a new mathematical model that instead of dark matter was focused on dark energy. This new standard model was able to explain that these 53 new events were produced by a dark energy particle which traveled from the sun's tachyosphere, where a chameleon particle that changes its behavior depending on its position in space, behaving in a way when present in dense areas and in another way when in more sparse zones of space, has traveled from this area of the Sun and hit the xenon gas in the containers, releasing these anomalies. Nevertheless, more research needs to be done, as this phenomena could also be explained by other theories and factors, with more data collection and experimentation being planned in the future. Regardless, some tangible benefits of this experiment have remained, namely the mathematical model created by the scientists, which by itself is the best explanation for dark energy so far. Also in 2021, another experiment in the search of a new force was conducted at Fermilab near Chicago, where scientists have stated that they found strong evidence for a new subatomic particle that might be a carrier for a new fundamental force, this time involving muons, that are predicted to behave in a certain way, but when observed they become affected, starting to behave in a different way. This effect is almost certainly caused by a fifth force. The only thing remaining to do is to clearly define its properties and future applications. So as to things are looking at this moment, besides the 4 fundamental forces of the universe, we almost certainly have found the 5th, and it might be that in the future we will start wondering of a 6th or even 7th force. But until then, more research needs to be done in order to better understand the reality that we live in, with the hope of maybe making our life a little better someday. Okay. Thank you all for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, take care.